This is my sister, Elizabeth. She is 29 years old, and she does have bipolar disorder, and you have bipolar too, right?
Correct.
Okay. Now, in your own words that everyone can understand, in your own words, give us, tell us what is bipolar.
It's where you are either up or you're down. There's really no happy medium. You're either depressed or you're overly happy and excited and what they call manic, where you feel like you have an unlimited amount of energy and you could just go and go and go forever and never stop. You have difficulty sleeping. It often causes insomnia. And you make erratic decisions, irrational choices. You have poor impulse control. And then when you're depressed, you often cry for hours or days, sometimes weeks. You feel like everything is just bad and it almost like a feeling of despair.
Okay. So, what age did you find out that you had bipolar?
About 13,
Okay. So how long have you been suffering with it?
about 16 years.
Okay. Um, did you, like, was you like depressed and you just went to the doctor and they, well, because I'm not a doctor, of course.
I
So,
acted out in school, which caused me to be sent to an alternative learning center. And I acted out there, which caused me to be sent to a juvenile group home. And there they put me in counseling, and I saw psychiatrists and psychologists, and they evaluated me. And um, I just was a troubled child that got into a lot of trouble and cursed out my teachers and other students and got into fights and just didn't. They said I had a authority problem. I didn't do well with being told what to do.
okay. Okay. How should I put this? I'm trying to figure out, like, uh, with the the bipolar and stuff is like, let's say parents have bipolar children, of course, and that
Yes.
maybe they blame themselves that the children, like when they become adults, they maybe do things that they don't want them to do, and they feel like it's their fault. I mean,
No, that's a
ma-
incorrect presumption.
or maybe they felt like they didn't raise the kid well,
It's a
or wasn't
chemical.
there.
It's a chemical imbalance in the brain.
Okay.
Um, Most of the time, it has to do with your serotonin levels, which
Okay.
your serotonin basically produces your happiness. Um, and like myself, I have very low, extremely low serotonin levels. So therefore, I'm probably what you would consider a pessimist. I am mostly down more than I'm up.
Okay.
And I see that the weather affects it, but it has nothing to do with the way I was raised or my parents or anything like that.
Okay. Um, do you feel that there are like do you feel there are any misconceptions about conceptions about bipolar, and if so, what are the misconceptions?
I'm sure there's misconceptions about everything because there's so many closed-minded people in this world that think they know everything. But I mean, I know that a lot of people that don't have bipolar disorder seem to think that the people are either throwing temper tantrums or they're just upset because they're not getting their way or something like that. But if you're truly bipolar, you'll have periods where you'll act out and then afterwards you don't even know why you acted out. Like,
Okay.
you're just as confused as everybody around you.
Okay.
It's something that's out of your control.
Okay. Now, do you like are you do sometimes you feel ashamed of letting people know you have BIPOC, like people who don't know you as well because you think they might treat you differently or they might think of you different. Like they
Yes.
might think of you less than or might think of you as
It definitely makes me insecure, especially around adults. Even though I am an adult, being mentally ill makes me sometimes feel like I'm not mentally an adult.
okay.
So a lot of times I feel like I'm still on a child's level in my mind. And when I go around a large group of normal people that are even my age or older, it makes me feel ashamed and insecure and self-conscious, and I tend to close off and not be as open around those people. It causes me to have panic attacks because I feel like being in those situations, I have social anxiety as well, but I think my bipolar disorder plays a big part in that because if those people judge me, then they might treat me differently. They might treat me like I'm unstable, which a lot of times I am.
Okay. Before I leave this interview, do you have any, any advice or uplifting words that you may, want to share with people who are suffering from bipolar?
Um, it's not the end of the world. You can develop coping skills. Like I write in a journal, I listen to music, and you try to find outlets to make yourself be able to cope better in the world with your bipolar disorder. You can take medications, and with myself, I've had a lot of problems finding the right medications because there's a lot of side effects to these medications. But I mean, gonna it's not gonna ruin your life unless you allow it to. You can still function in society with it, but you have to you have to know your boundaries and what you're capable of tolerating so that you don't put yourself in a situation to where you could have an outburst or um, become suicidal or something like that.
Okay. Well, thanks for taking time out to let me interview you, Elizabeth. Of course, you know I love you.
You're
Yeah.
welcome. I love you too.
Okay, and I'll let you go. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.